I'm literally about to sell these goggles, but I wanted to tell you why I'm selling them, these right here, and why I'm going to be using these and what I think the best setup for DJI stuff is going forward, at least for now. Obviously, they may like see this video and kill all compatibility with the old goggles, but at least right now, the old goggles and the O3 Air unit are the way to go, and I'll explain why now. So, okay. I've been testing both of these back to back. I have O3 Air units in quads. I have old school Air units and whatnot. I will say that updating the firmware on these goggles to get the stuff with the O3s to work is such a pain in the butt, and it doesn't work on a Mac currently. So if you're trying this and you're trying to update it via the phone or the whatever this stupid connector that they give you that's USB-A to USB-C to Lightning or whatever you're trying to, you have to have a Nevada for some reason to be able to update these goggles seemingly, and then it doesn't work on a Mac. It just downloads the file and then says you're screwed, it's not going to work. So you have to have a PC if you want to update this. This is currently, I don't know if they've changed an update in the last couple days, but literally not even like 5 days ago before I left for Turkey, I was trying to update these and it took me like 2.5 hours to figure out that you can't use a Mac, you have to use a PC, and it did work on a PC, but really, really annoying. All right, so let's talk about the main reason why I'm switching, or why I'm selling these. So these goggles are so much smaller than the V2s, right? Well, let's talk about some differences as far as like the smallness obviously is one thing, but it doesn't fit my face. I've gotten it really close. I ordered this like special foam right here. It's not really special, it's just like generic foam, and I cut the nose out right there. And I took out the original foam piece and just used Velcro to hold this on. And that fits my face pretty well, but still, my nose still touches the front. I don't have a crazy big nose.
That's a huge bitch!
It's not super uncomfortable for me, but it definitely doesn't fit my face super well. Not nearly as well as the V2s. The next thing is, it's only compatible with like a very, very specific voltage. I want to say it's like 8 to 12 volts or something like that. Is like you can't put a 4 or a 3S on it, but you can't put a 2S on it, so you pretty much have to use this battery, which is super dumb because on the V2 goggles you can run XT60 and run a 6S battery. So well, win for the V2 goggles on fit and as far as battery compatibility, which for me is a huge thing because I've always got 6S batteries lying around that I'm going to use for drones or whatnot, or if I want to run like a massive 4S battery or something, I have that. I don't have 50 of these lying around, nor do I want to pay for them, and they're kind of dumb. I don't really like smart batteries that much. The next thing is the fact that the refresh rate. This is the main thing, okay? So the compatibility issues, obviously this can go on the old Air units, can go on the new Air units. It's completely reverse compatible. Same with this, it's forward compatible. It goes with the old stuff and the new stuff. However, the refresh rate, these are OLED screens, supposedly, and these are LCD. And the refresh rate on these are 100 hertz, and this is 144 hertz. I just literally looked this up. I thought it was 120 FPS and 100 FPS. Regardless if it's 100 hertz and 144 hertz, it's still a decent amount more on these goggles, and it's super noticeable. I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to bind two drones. I have a drone set up here with this goggle, and I have a drone set up here with these goggles, and I'll just wave my hand in front of it and kind of show you, and you can see the actual stutter. It looks like my hand is teleporting on these versus in these it just looks super buttery and smooth, which again, like 44 hertz or whatever, 20 FPS, whichever one it is not that much, but it's significantly more noticeable for someone like me because, you know, I'm flying a little bit more aggressively. It's not even that I'm flying freestyle. If you notice in my previous videos, I'm still flying analog for freestyle, but for all my work stuff, I fly these, and I need the fastest refresh rate I can get so I can be more comfortable, basically. So another thing is you can modify the antennas on this, which for whatever it's worth, I don't know, these seemingly work pretty well. These do work well too. You can also like pull these off and put modified antennas on there. I think TrueRC makes some, and you could potentially make these better. But I just find personally that I don't need this IPD adjustment inside here. And a lot of people, including my buddy Blaster now is what he goes by, you can wear glasses inside these. And we had this discussion the other day about how, you know, with these, he can set the IPDs, but then when he pops the goggles off to maybe catch the quad line of sight, he can't see anymore because he doesn't have his goggles on. Where these, he can wear glasses inside, and then he pops these off and he's still got his glasses on. He can actually see the quad. So it makes a little bit more sense. Also, this price difference is significant. Obviously, these are brand new. They're a little smaller, and they work with the Nevada. If you have a Nevada, yes, you need these. I don't have a Nevada. I don't care about a Nevada. I'm flying FPV stuff that I'm building, and I love the 03 air unit, which I don't love the form factor of the camera, but I can talk about that in another video. And the fact that it didn't fit any of the old stuff, but it doesn't matter. We're already working on new compatibility with like an Apex that fits all this stuff from the factory, so shouldn't be an issue. But as far as like the 03 air unit's performance, super good, better image quality, seemingly better penetration. Obviously, you have to use the little code. I don't remember. It's kind of like the V1 goggles. You put in whatever, like NACA 1200 or something, but it's similar, and it goes on the SD card that works with the 03 air units. It's like something FCC hack or whatever, and you get 3 channels on the most specific, the most badass band, whatever that is. I just know I run it on the highest bandwidth possible, and I have 3 channels now instead of 1. And then in the middle, you have 7 channels instead of 3 or something like that. You get more channels with that hack. It's not a hack, it's just something that you can unlock, an FCC mode that allows you to do that. Gives you a little bit more power output as well. So those are kind of my gripes with these goggles. I like these goggles. Let me show you the difference between the two when I plug them in. So I'll show you the laggier one first. I'll turn these on, plug this in. We'll get that bound up. These I'll plug in. We'll get these turned on, and I'll plug this in, and hopefully it stays bound long enough for us to check it out. So, all right, so we got these. This is the drone on the right that I just showed you. Let me get rid of that. Oh, I don't like the little haptic touch thing on the side either. It's really annoying. Go away. Okay, so see my hand, how it's like kind of shadowy, and then when I move it quickly, it gets super staccato. All right, let's try the same on these goggles bound to this drone. So this is gonna be my right hand this time instead of my left hand. Same exact thing, hand in front of the camera. I also like the image on these goggles, and the field of view is a little bit bigger. So it's still not perfect, and that probably is the phone frame rate more so than the screen resolution, or sorry, the screen frame rate in there. But you can tell that my hand is not jumping around as much, and it's a little bit smoother. Obviously, I'm being super erratic so you can see, and that's probably the frame rate on the phone doing weird stuff. But let's go back and compare this. That stupid haptic thing. Get out of here. Also, obviously, this is in like the standard color mode. You prefer to run it in like Cindy like or whatever, so that it is a little less dark and contrasty. But obviously, someone's gonna say, "Oh, but they're not armed, so it's not getting it's not turning on to the actual 50 megabit or whatever." We're at 7 megabits right now. Sure, if you want to argue that, but I'm telling you from a flying perspective that it reacts the exact same when it's flying. So this versus this, I hope I'm not the only one in the world that can see that. And I hope I'm not the only one in the world that can tell that this is gonna fit most people's faces better. It's cheaper, it runs on more batteries, it's compatible with the new stuff, it has more adjustability as far as antennas are concerned. I don't know, you make the decisions. I'm not here to make decisions for you. I don't work for DJI. Zooby zooby zoo. I'm completely happy with just buying that, using that extra money to buy more Air Unit 03s for my older set of goggles. Oh, one last thing. These goggles, the old goggles and the new goggles, you plug in USB-C to Lightning, and it outputs on your phone or an iPad through that a DJI Fly app. So before, if you had these goggles and you wanted to output something, you had to seemingly go into a smart controller, and then if you wanted HDMI out, you'd run HDMI out of the smart controller, which is sometimes what you have to do because you need HDMI out for a client or something. However, there was never an option that I'm aware of that you could run into a phone and get the video out of the goggles. Maybe I'm just dumb, but I didn't think that was an option before, but it is now. So I just plug this into these goggles in the USB-C. I plug this lightning into my phone, and I turn on the DJI Fly app, and I hit go fly down in the corner, and it pops up the thing exactly what I'm seeing on the phone, and I can just hand the phone or the iPad to whoever's near me, and they can watch what I'm doing. It's pretty cool. It's still a little weird because it's tethered, but yeah, cool. All the features are there. It suits all the needs that I have for this set of goggles and for my work purposes. So that's my 2 cents on the DJI stuff and what I'll be using it for. And I have, this is my like fancy new rig with my O3 air unit and a little LED and whatnot, my V5 motors, and this is like the rig that I'll be using for work and whatnot, and exploring. Honestly, just the DJI stuff is so much better for exploring than analog is, but still, freestyle, I prefer to rip some analog. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.